We're done with the first part of our subject, corporate governance. So let's now proceed to Unit 2, business ethics. There are 6 chapters under Unit 2. However, since you'll be having your midterm exams next month, I'm planning to just cover the first 4 chapters. Chapter 5, Introduction to Ethics. Chapter 6, Business Ethics. Chapter 7, Common and Ethical Practices of Business Establishments. Chapter 8, Ethical Dilemma. So let's start with Chapter 5, the Introduction to Ethics. For the duration of this video, expect a brief introduction of ethics, the characteristics and values associated with ethical behavior, why ethical behavior is necessary, why people act unethically, the categories of ethical principles, and the need for professional ethics. First, what is ethics? The broad definition of ethics is it being a set of moral principles or values that governs the actions and decisions of an individual or group. Ethics varies from individual to individual at any point in time. It is important in maintaining a civil society. Hence, is called the glue that holds the society together. So just imagine how chaotic a society would be if the people therein do not have principles of what is right and what is wrong, what's unethical and what is not. So kagaya natin, pwedeng magkapareho or magkaiba tayo ng moral principles and values. Halimbawa, honesty and fairness. Pwedeng ako, mas binavalue ko yung honesty over fairness, and then ikaw, mas binavalue mo yung fairness kaysa sa honesty. It's unlikely that people will agree on the relative importance of each principle. Most people within a society are able to agree about what is considered ethical and unethical behavior. For example, here in the Philippines, some laws are being passed depending upon what the citizens consider as an ethical behavior. And those unethical behaviors may change through time. Ibig sabihin, not because it is ethical or unethical ngayon, ay forever na siyang ganon. For example, we have the Republic Act number 9262, the Violence Against Women and Children Act. It became a law in 2004. But prior to year 1995, hindi pa ganon nire-recognize ang gender-based violence dito sa Pilipinas. Then as time went by, the society has just agreed that it should punish such unethical behavior. So in addition to the anti-sexual harassment, anti-rape, anti-trafficking, the government decided to promulgate another law protecting women, and ito nga yung Anti-Violence Against Women and Children Act. Each of us has a set of values. Examples of the ideal sets of moral principles or values are laws and regulations, church doctrines, code of business ethics, and codes of conduct. There is no right way to do a wrong thing. So yes, obviously, kasi kahit gaano pa ka-right yung naiisip mong way, it can never be right if it will be done for a wrong thing. So we cling to the principle that the end doesn't justify the means. Pero ang complicated dito ay yung concept ng right and wrong. How will you distinguish one from the other? Based ba sa law, sa religion, sa moral, sa ethics? How will we know if we're acting ethically? So take a look at this legal ethical grid. So something is illegal when it is not in accordance with the law. As you can see, ethical does not always mean that it's legal. May case na ethical siya, pero illegal. So illegal, then ethical. Halimbawa, nag-jaywalk ka para tulungan tumawid yung elderly. It is ethical kasi it shows your principle of caring for others. But jaywalking is not in accordance with the law, therefore illegal. And also may case na legal siya pero unethical. So still considered as unethical kahit pa in accordance with the law siya. Halimbawa, Galing ka sa party and nakainom ka kasi nakalimutan mo na sisimba nga pala kayo ng family mo. Unethical na magsimba ng lasing because it doesn't show your principle of respect for others. Pero legally speaking, wala kang offense kasi wala namang law na nagbabawal doon. So, in that case, legal siya, pero unethical. Then, of course, we have actions na legal and at the same time ethical, unethical, and at the same time illegal. So, yun, ethics is ethics. Deep inside you, may idea ka kung anong actions ba yung ethical and ano yung unethical. The principles of ethics vary from individual to individual, as I've said earlier, and there are a lot of factors na nakaka-affect sa kung ano yung kinoconsider natin as ethical or not. Among these factors are our parents, teachers, friends, the television, social media, and of course, our life experiences. Let's now proceed to the characteristics and values associated with ethical behavior. So there are 10. So again, I made a mnemonics na hindi connected sa topic, but I hope it could help you remember these 10 values. Ito yung mga principles na ina-associate sa pagiging ethical. These are actually self-explanatory. So, daanan lang natin. For letter C, caring for others. A, accountability. Ibig sabihin, you're accepting responsibility. R, respect for others. Then R, responsible citizenship. Basically, it's shown by obeying just laws and protesting against unjust laws. Not because you're protesting against unjust laws ay unethical na. Not because you're protesting against the government ay hindi ka na responsible citizen. Then you could also be responsible citizen by voting. Then 5, L, loyalty, fidelity, and confidentiality. Then I, integrity. F, fairness and openness. You must be open-minded and willing to admit errors. We're allowed to change positions and beliefs. No one should ever blame you for changing your principles in life. Trustworthiness and promise-keeping. You should abide by the spirit and by the letter of the agreement. Ibig sabihin, hindi ka mag-break ng commitment just because of a mere technicality na gagawin mong excuse. For example, you had a contract and then you'll be over technical na mabibreak yung agreement nyo just because of that typographical error. Then 9, the pursuit of excellence. Performing tasks to the best of your abilities and not being content with mediocrity. I want to share with you the words of our Supreme Court Justice Leonin, during the oath-taking of, I think, Bar 2019 passers. Sabi niya, strive excellence not only in order to get more titles, not to land yourself in the top 10 list. Strive for excellence because you need excellence with honor to enable and empower the weak, the poor, the marginalized, and the oppressed. Then 10 is H, honesty. You already know what honesty is. So again, car lift, PH. Yan. The next question is, why is ethical behavior necessary? Bakit ba kailangan natin aralin yung ethics, yung business ethics? So ethical behavior is necessary for a society to function in an orderly manner. Kasi di ba nga, the ethics is known to be the glue that holds the society together. One of the principles mentioned a while ago is honesty. There can be no effective communication when honesty is missing. So nonsense ang pagko-communicate ng mga tao when the truth is not being spoken. Ethics is so important that many ethical values are incorporated into laws. For example, we have the family code. This shows how our country values marriage, how our country values family, and it sees to the point that our laws see the marriage and family not just as a contract but also as an inviolable social institution. However, please note that not all ethical values are being incorporated into laws, hence the legal ethical grid. The next question is, why do people act unethically? So first, ano ba yung unethical behavior? It is a conduct that differs from the way people believe would have been appropriate given the circumstances. We decide for ourselves kung ano yung behaviors or actions na i-consider natin na ethical and unethical. But there are two primary reasons why people act unethically. First, the person's ethical standards differ from the general society, and second, the person chooses to act selfishly. So under number one, examples ito mga drug dealers, thieves, tax evaders, and most of them feel no remorse even after being apprehended. Then for the second reason, we have selfish acts. Examples ay a lot of political scandals, graft and corruption cases, the PhilHealth issue, the Manila Bay, White Sand funds, the COVID response funds and loans, all results of extreme desire for political power and wealth. Then another example, the na applicable mostly sa students ay cheating on exams. It is such a selfish act and at the same time, disrespect yun sa professor and sa mga sarili nyo. So next, we go to the three categories of ethical principles. We have personal ethics, professional ethics, and business ethics. Under personal ethics, syempre yung principles nyo as a person. Among these are justice, respect for others' rights, compliance with the law. Professional ethics, professional competence, confidentiality, and professional behavior. And then business ethics, ito yung focus ng succeeding topics natin, fair competition, social responsibility, concern for environment, then global and domestic justice. Next, the need for professional ethics. There is actually no universal accepted definition of what constitutes a profession. Nonetheless, we know a lot of disciplines which are long accorded with a professional status like accounting, medicine, law, engineering, and others. The Code of Ethics for Professions provides practical guidance to the individual member in maintaining a professional attitude. In addition, the code is designed to provide assurance to clients and the public that the profession intends to maintain high standards or to enforce compliance with the individual member. These professions have common characteristics. So there are four common characteristics. First, the responsibility to serve the public. Second, the complex body of knowledge. Third, standards of admission to profession. And fourth, the need for public confidence. So ang downside dyan, someone's careless work or lack of integrity may lead the public to have a negative view sa buong profession. So damay lahat, hence the need for a code of professional ethics. So ito, may code na naman. So tapos na tayo dun sa Code of Corporate Governance for publicly listed entities or for corporations. Ito, Executive Order number 220 series of 2003, code naman siya na directing the adoption of the Code of Good Governance for the professions in the Philippines. So hindi na to para sa publicly listed entities, for the professionals na to. It was adopted by the PRC. The PRC is the Professional Regulation Commission, and 42 professional regulatory boards. So for accountancy, Our professional regulatory board is BOA, or the Board of Accountancy. Series of 2003 kasi, it was promulgated in June 23, 2003. So under such order, makikita yung general principles of professional conduct and the specific principles. For the general principles, professionals are required to have ethical commitment. This is a personal resolve to act ethically. Then ethical awareness, it is the ability to discern between right and wrong. Thus ethical competency is the ability to engage in sound moral reasoning and consider carefully the implications of alternative actions. So these three, commitment, awareness, and competency, these are all important to make the professionals accountable to their public liability and fully fulfill their professional obligation to their clients. Now we go to the specific principles of professional conduct. So, ang code ko dito ay sige. So, 3 na S, tapos isang C, tas IGE. So, for the first S, service to others. That is to protect the life, property, and public welfare, heroic sacrifice, and genuine selfishness in carrying out duties even at the expense of personal gain. Then another S ay solidarity and teamwork. Broader interest of the profession above one's personal ambition and preference. Social and civic responsibility. Broader interest of the public towards attainment of the country's national objectives. C. Professional competence. Knowledge, technical skills, attitude, and experience, lifelong continuing educational programs. Integrity and objectivity, imbued with nationalism, free of conflicts of interest. Then G, global competitiveness, openness to the challenges of a more dynamic, interconnected world, rise up to the global standards and global best practices. So, yung skill set nyo, it should not be just for Philippines. Kailangan you're globally competitive. Then last is E, equality of all the professions. There is no superiority of one over another. So respect and fairness among all professions. You should never tell na superior tayo over other professions dahil mahirap yung board exam natin or mahirap yung accountancy. So in the end, lahat ng professions, pantay-pantay pa rin lang. So low-key lang tayo, kahit totoong mahirap yung board exam. So yan, that's all for chapter 5. If you have questions or clarifications, I'm just a message away. So feel free to give feedbacks kasi 'di ba? Our previous discussions are not like this one. So I just tried Loom kasi suggestion ni Sir Arnold. Pero ayun, if you prefer the first or this one, just feel free to give your feedbacks. Thank you.